Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a little review on Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I will try to not make any spoilers that are not necessary for me to do a little recap of everything that happens in this book. If you want on the future, I can do a more deep dive into everything that happens within this storyline. But today, I just want to do a little review for anyone that is looking forward to reading this book. Like I mentioned, Suzanne Collins is the author. She created the original saga, The Hunger Games, which has The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay. I think last year or the year before, she published after more than 10 years of this original saga, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is a prequel of the original saga. This one is also a prequel, but this one happens 25 years before the original saga, and the other one happens like, I don't know, 50 years before the original saga. So it says on the back, when you've been set up to lose everything you love, what is there left to fight for? I will try to do a little resume if you have not read The Hunger Games. This is a young adult dystopian world where you find yourself in Panem that is divided into the capital and 13 other districts. They each have a job to do to provide to the capital mainly. For example, District 12, which is where our main character is from in this book and also on the Hunger Games, they are the mining district. So everything revolves about that specific job. There was a war in Panem, and the capital won over the districts. So, to have control over them, they decided to implement the Hunger Games, which are games where every district sends two children, one girl and one boy, yearly to the capital to be put into an arena with the other district children to die. They need to fight to death to get just one victor. So you put 24 children and teenagers in one arena and they need to figure out a way to have only one victor alive. Sunrise on the Reaping is the Quarter Quell on the 50th Hunger Games. And our main character is Haymitch. He is a boy from District 12. He is 16 years old when he is sent to his games. On the Hunger Games, if you have not read those books, I will say start there and then move on to the ballads and then to the sunrise, okay? On the Hunger Games, we know that Haymitch was the winner of the 50th Hunger Games. We knew that his family was killed. We knew that because it was a Quarter Quell, there were special rules. So instead of each district sending two kids, they were sending four. So he watched other 47 kids die for him to win his games. And we knew that he had used the arena in his advantage to become the victor. I'm not going to tell you how. This book explains it better, but it's already known in the Hunger Games. This is not like a spoiler. If you have read the saga, you already know that. But on this game, what I love, there are many things I love. What I love about this one in particular is that we get to see Haymitch before he becomes the alcoholic mm, that we know he is in the Hunger Games. We get a deep look into his background, his family, his friends, his girlfriend, what he did on the district before he was sent on the Hunger Games. We really get a big idea of the person that he was becoming prior to being traumatized by the games. And I've always felt sad for him on the Hunger Games. I didn't realize, maybe when I was younger, when I read them, the depth of sadness and grief that he had, and he was trying to work it through alcohol. And now that I have read his story, you feel heartbroken. It makes me want to cry. But actually, this book, I don't think I have mentioned it, but destroyed me. I read it like 10 days I'm sorry, after it was published. I had to buy it online and I got it through Amazon because where I live, we don't have the possibility of getting them like the original copies in English. So I wanted to have it and I got it, yeah, like maybe 10 days after. I read it in, I think, a couple of days. I don't have a lot of time to read. So for me, reading it in a couple of days, that meant that I stayed late at night reading them. And I cried so much with this book. It has some really intense scenes, and I don't know if it has any trigger warnings, but maybe it should because it really traumatized me in some ways, and it really made me stop on my own normal routine, and I just kept thinking, how can this happen? How could anybody be so cruel to other people? How can anybody be so amazing at writing like Suzanne that she has given us this horrifying story that we all love? I include myself because I do think It's one of my favorite books. I think she does a marvelous job into being there with the characters. You don't feel like you are watching the movie. You feel like you are living the story with them in that moment. And you are panicking because you do not know if you are going to survive. It's amazing. I have really loved this book just as much as the first original saga. And I, I don't want to say any big spoilers for you to be able to find them. I am not big into having people tell me spoilers. My cat is trying to get into the room. Let's see if he can. I don't like when people tell me spoilers, so I try not to do that to any other person. But this book really destroyed, repaired, and destroyed again all my emotions. He moved the camera. I don't know if you can see. Um, what was I saying? I completely recommend this book. This is 5 out of 5 stars for me, but it gave me a reading slump. It took me a month to be able to read anything because it shattered me from the inside out. I know you may think I'm being that I'm exaggerating things, but I'm not. This is an amazing book, and I actually told my mom, "Hey, you should read. This book is going to come out." I was so excited, and last year I read all of the other books. I have them here. I read all of them to be focused on remembering things for this book. And she saw me so excited that she read the first 3 books. She started to read the other prequel, and I started reading this one. And I told her, I don't know if you should read this book right now. I think you need to be in the right mental space to read this book because it's so good and you feel so inside of the story that you are going to be living whatever they are going through, and the things they are going through are not good. So yeah, I told my mom, maybe read it when you are feeling good, calm, you don't have a lot of problems because wow, I jumped into this book without realizing how much emotional damage it was going to cause me. I actually want to reread it already. I don't know when that will happen, but I love how Suzanne took our nostalgia over some characters in the other books and she put them here. I think some were a really nice touch to have, and I think some of them were more focused on the fans wanting to have them in this book too. I'm happy with all of them. I am a person that lives through nostalgia. So for me, it was really nice getting to know also a backstory of some of the characters that we meet on the original saga. I am not going to tell you who they are to be spoiler free, but I was not expecting them except for one. One, I was kind of thinking it could happen, but the other ones, we have many. So be prepared because maybe some of the characters that you already love on the original saga you will find here. And they focus on how politics work and how they could shape the way a society works. It's also it also runs deep in these books. So if you like that kind of reading and you're interested in being rebellious, this might be the book for you. Anyway, I don't want to tell you, I mean, we already know from the page one that Haymitch is the winner of these games. That's a given. But how he becomes the winner and everything that happens prior to the games, there is a big portion of the book that is focused on his life previous to the games, then a big part of the games, and a smaller part after the games. Wow. And I loved how we get to see a really emotional side of Hamish because when you meet him in the Hunger Games, you don't really understand why he's so angry and why he doesn't seem to love Katniss and Pita. Over time, that changes, and you can definitely tell that he's worried about about those kids, but you are not sure how he got there, how he became that person that despises everything. In this book, you will get your answers, and those answers are not going to be good. You are not going to like the explanation. I am thankful that Suzanne decided to do Haymitch's story. I hope that she does Johanna's, Phoenix, Max, everyone's. I think there's so much potential. Hopefully, she will greet us with good news in the future. This book also is coming to theaters next year. I have seen that they are showing the cast impeccable. So let me know if you have read this book, if you know about the saga. What were your thoughts? If you want another book, if you don't want another book, do you think this book was necessary? Mm, was it a 5 stars for you? Let me know and we will talk on the next video. Bye!